Hello, good morning, Borodar friends. How are you this morning? I am just going to lower that slightly. I can put this on a camera setting just to make sure it's all lined up and you can see me. And I almost forgot to actually go into YouTube, so sorry if I'm a little bit late. Hope you're okay. Happy 1st of February. I actually feel thrilled that we're in February. I don't know how everyone else feels, but I thought January was going to last forever. It seemed to go quickly, but yeah. So we're moving on into the sun, into the spring. But I hope you're feeling well. This is going to be hopefully a really relaxing, lovely, mindful session of Tai Chi movements for well-being. This is one of my favorite things to do. We do this in Pilates on a Monday, and it really helps sort of ground me for the week. And I hope it does the same for you. So this sequence can be done standing. It can be done seating. If you're going to do it seating, ideally, you want a nice sort of, solid chair that you can sit in, that you can get your feet comfortably on the floor, and ideally with no arms. If the only option open to you has arms, then go with it. It's fine. But if you can move those arms, it just helps. What I would recommend is that you can feel your feet on the floor so that when we're doing the movements, there's still a little bit of movement in the legs. Now, I'm thinking about doing a purely seated sequence. So if you think that would be useful, send me a quick email or put something on the live chat. And if I do one once, and then it's there for you to access. So otherwise, I'm going to do this live session standing, but it doesn't mean you can't do it seated. So before we start, how are you feeling? Are you feeling well? This is although it looks very gentle, it's actually quite a challenging sequence. So if you're not feeling well, probably is not your day. There's quite a lot of movement, even though it's slow. So just go easy. And if you have any injuries, we're going to really focus on that soft limit. So if it's a recent injury, probably it's best not to be doing this session today. If it's a long-standing injury, then you will know your limitations. So use that principle of soft limit. And if we go over that, the soft limit meaning that if we're making a circle with the hands, this circle is the same circle here as it is here. But if that hurts, then we want to make the circle small enough that you can do it and remain relaxed without pain. And what we'll find is that hopefully if we carry on using the soft limit, you might find your range gradually increases. The other really important principle, and you just saw me doing it then, is that mirroring. So if this arm has limited range and this arm has a bigger range, we quite often do this. We sort of let this one really go for it and we try and keep up with this one. So we're going to not do that. We're going to let this side lead. So let the weaker side lead, let the stronger side follow. And we create balance. And when we've created balance, the body likes it. It can relax again. And again, you may find that we gradually improve your mobility. Right then, let's sort of think about making a start. So we're all feeling good. We're going to just think about finding our start position. So playing around with that foot position, wider, narrower, till we come to that position where we think, yeah, I think that's about hip width apart. You can check it then. And if you think maybe it's a bit narrow or a bit wide, make some adjustments. But we're actually learning to check in and just feel how it feels. And we're just trying to make sure we're not sort of standing out of habit. Okay, feet out, hips forwards, or sort of other. So as close to 12 o'clock as you feel you can. And once we're there, we're just going to think about just really lengthening through that spine, coming back to that stance that we were born with. And we refer to your tail throughout this session. So if you imagine you had a big long tail sort of sticking out of that backside, where we sort of stick the tail out. If it was quite a rigid tail, this would be sticking out that way. So if you stick your bottom out, your tail is going to stick out. So what we get you to do is just allow that tail to hang straight down towards your heels by just gently tucking that bottom in a little bit. And then what we tend to do, because it doesn't quite reach the heels, we get you just to take your knees off lock so that tail becomes almost like a third leg on the floor there, just behind your heels. So remember that kangaroo tail. So when I talk about dropping your tail, it's about softening those knees. Okay, friends. Once you've found that lovely relaxed position, we're just going to breathe out, place that tail down, rub these hands together. Just creating some heat between the palms. And then placing those fingertips over the face. How are we feeling today? And again. Not too hard, not too soft. Just creating some friction. Noticing how those hands are feeling, how the skin is feeling. And then just allowing that head to rest in that private space. This is your space. This is your time. And one more time. Noticing the fingers, the thumbs. Noticing if there's a little bit more heat there than when we did it the first time. And then for one last time, just allow yourself that space. Just to be yourself. To be you. To take that breath out. And when you feel ready, we're going to take this light tapping over the head. This form of self-massage is a really important part of our warm-up. And we're going to explore this head, and then we're going to bring that tapping to the chin. And we're going to follow the contours of the face, cheekbone, that nose, the brow bone, to the temples, and then to those earlobes. And massage those earlobes gently. Just going to follow the outside of the ear all the way to that little knobbly bit that I never remember the name of. And then we'll just let those hands relax. Just let yourself relax. You might want to shake these feet out a little bit. So we're going to just find that position again. Take your awareness into those shoulders. Let's see if we can soften the shoulders, soften the face. And then we'll place that tail down. Just take those knees off lock. And then just gently straighten those legs so we're lifting that tail again. And then this time we're going to allow those hands to gently rise, as if you had that golden ball just resting in the crook of your arm. When you feel ready, I'm going to take that left hand, make that connection with the right foot. Breathing in, coming back, breathing out. Diagonal repatterning. Breathing out. This warm-up move. Feeling that breathing. Breathing out into that right foot. Breathing out into that left foot. coming back. Just letting those arms go. And then just feeling this weight transfer into that left leg, into the right. So we've got that lovely long spine. Just going to get you to allow those arms to relax, but just notice this folding movement at the hips. So those knees are staying in contact or in line with that big toe or that second toe. So that when we come into two dragons wrapping, there's that element of movement through the legs. So just let those arms go, let those arms become floppy. And it becomes almost playful. Just nothing else to do in the world. Just let those arms go. Good. Really helps to release any tension. And then we're just going to let those arms find their way home. And we're going to, again, just settle like that boat in water. Allow that tail to rest behind your heels. Now, if we had that globe just resting in your forearms, we're going to come into the vital organ warm-up. And so, just going to lift my chest, just open up some space in that left side of the body. And then this ball just resting in the arms, I'm going to open up some space on that right side of the body. And all the while, that tail is just gently resting on the floor. Good. And then let's open some space up in that lower back. Open some space up in that right side of the body, in that abdominal area. And we're going to circle this ball. Breathing out, breathing in. Breathing out. Just take your awareness into those feet, comfortably on the floor. To that breathing, breathing out as we open up that space in the lower back. Breathing in as we open up that abdominal area, and then we'll change direction. Breathing out. So softening that face, softening that neck, allowing those shoulders to soften. Just imagine warmth, sunshine all over the neck, the shoulders, the face. That sense of relaxation and softening. Breathing in and breathing out. And then coming back, feeling that lovely length in the spine. Just letting those arms almost fall. Letting those shoulders become soft. Moving those feet a little bit if you need to. And then again, coming to that position. Placing that tail down. Flying like wild geese. Is that breath in? That breath out. Just imagine those helium balloons under each elbow. They're almost lifting quite wide rather than high. Just breathing in. Imagine your lungs almost like a pair of bellows. And as we rise, that air drawing in, and those arms helping push that air out. This grace, this flow. And then allowing those hands just to be, making sure that tail isn't sort of stuck out behind you, it's at those heels. Heaven and earth. Circles. There's the rise and the fall. There's that movement in the legs. It's not exaggerated, but it's as if we're using that ground, that energy from the ground. We're pushing off the ground, feeling that energy rise and fall. Open to the day. So from the ground, feel that energy rise up to the fingertips, back down the body, through the legs, feet, ground, back up. So those feet, those legs, initiating the move, pushing down, feeling that sense of movement all through the body, and then coming down, heels stay down, breathing in, flexing the sky, breathing out. Allow that breath to lead you. Allow your movements to flow with that breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. We're going to take one more of these. Notice that breath in, that breath out, then rowing that boat, reversing this movement. Shoulders soft but powerful. Taking those movements wide rather than too far behind, particularly if there's injury with the shoulders. As we reach the last of that breath in, as the legs straighten, the arms reach their furthest most point. Gazing at the moon, placing that tail down. We're going to just gaze over that shoulder. It's as if you're showing someone who stood next to you. This wonderful view. Imagine that full moon in the sky. You're not hurting yourself, not trying too hard. It's as if you're saying, if you're just seeing that beautiful sight. So we're breathing out. And then we notice, as we look over that shoulder, that weight transfer through that left leg, back to center, through that right leg. And that tail still on the floor. So we're going to come into our natural step. I'm actually going to do it this way for you today. So we're going to take this right foot and just turn it away from center And then just stepping out. So we have that hips square on, tail is down. We're just going to practice that transfer of weight from that front leg. You might think, I just need to adjust myself a little bit. Front into that back foot, but all the while, those hips are square on. And then with that long spine, when you feel ready, from that circle, we're going to breathe in. And we're going to breathe out. You may find yourself at this point coming quite far forwards, almost overreaching. See if you can find that point where you don't feel that it's too much. You don't feel overbalanced. It feels natural. And then sliding this foot back. And as this one comes in, we're back to our original point. And then with that balance, taking this foot somewhere about 2 o'clock on that clock face, but for some it will be 1, for some it will be 3, and then this heel coming somewhere around that big toe position. And again, just place that tail down. Practice that weight transfer. Notice any clawing in the feet. That's a real indicator that we're losing balance, that we might be overreaching, trying too hard. And then we're going to make this circle. And as we move back, we're going to breathe in. From the hips, breathing in and breathing out. Here am I. Soft shoulders, soft neck, soft face. This is me. This is actually me, not someone I'm pretending to be. This is it. Warts and all, as they say. And then we'll bring that foot back. And again, that foot position gives us our balance, helps ground us. So we'll place that tail down. And then allow those hands just to recognize one another. Is there a sense of energy there between them? There may not be, but we're going to play with that. I'm going to take that left hand over the right. And you can see it's not too close, but it's also not too far away. Allow that tail to be down. And then before we move those arms, we're going to see if we can just take the weight down into that right foot, down into that left. It's as if we're rotating on that tail. So imagine your tail has become stiff like a cane. And we're just taking the weight, rotating around that tail. And we're going to come back to center. And in that same movement, waving hands like clouds. There's flow, soft breathing, circles. When we get to the end of the move, coming back to the start of the move. Just like a circle, no beginning, no end. going to take one more. I'm going to place that tail down. I'm going to take the 5 elements. We're going to take a breath in. We're going to breathe out. We're going to breathe in and out. And with this movement, we're going to find that flow, that grace, those circles. There's that breath in and that breath out. Find that movement that works for you, that range, those circles. There's that move from the ground through those legs as we breathe in and rise up. And then we're sinking back down, that tail comes down. And then again, that rise up. Breath out. Just take one more of those. Think about fire, air, ground. Feel that ground beneath your feet, giving you shape, giving you balance, confidence, softness. And then our circle of well-being. So with that tail behind the heels, we're going to draw this line of well-being around us. So we're going to breathe in. Now if you get maybe dizzy, then we're going to keep these circles small and keep this head and certainly above the heart. And if you feel uncomfortable with that lower back, bend those knees a little bit more, and again just keep those circles within your soft limit. And then we're going to change direction. So we're going to breathe out. We're going to breathe in. Just one more of these. And then drawing these hands in to you, returning to center. That tail is down. Just going to straighten those legs, gently lift it up, and then soften those knees. Allow that tail just to touch the floor. Breathing in, breathing out. There's that softness in the face, the shoulders, softness in those hands. Breathing in. And just allowing yourself to stand there for a few moments. We'll just wiggle those toes a little bit. Notice the sounds. I can hear the sounds of the birds singing, which is lovely. And we're just going to take a few moments. So if you need a drink, or anything like that. We're going to have a little drink. And I've tried to bring in just a few more technical points in that section. Oh, good morning, Agnes. Lovely to see you. Absolutely fabulous. Happy February. And yeah, what we're going to do in the next part is the same sequence. We're going to really focus on that softness and that flow. So I'm just going to shut this door because the kids have got lightsabers and I can hear them just starting. We don't want your sequence ruined. I think the dog barked last week and I almost jumped out of my skin just towards the end of the second sequence. Oh, you did very well not to write formal written complaints. So, when you feel ready, we're going to come back into that lovely position. We did a little bit of technical work on that folding of the hips within the sequence today. The one thing that is sort of really important is that we don't want these knees sort of almost twisting in their joints. So the folding in the hips, I'm just going to show you here. Once that tail is down, the knees are bent. We're sort of trying to get that movement in the hips rather than this happening. We want those knees strong so the movement is sort of here. And then we're pushing off each leg. And what we find is there's a lovely amount of leg strength. So we have that in diagonal repatterning. So it's very much there. We're actually doing that, but the hip movement makes it look like it's a cross. So it's fascinating. We're actually doing this, but we're actually moving those hips so it's here. We do it in two dragons wrapping. Okay. That's why we did a little bit of technical. That one. Waving hands like clouds. So great for getting those hips loosened up. You'll struggle with it unless the tail is down. So if you're doing that, it's quite challenging. So you will have to practice that little tilt of the pelvis and imagine that tail on the floor. Okay, we're going to do 3 movements in each sequence move this time. So when you feel ready, we're going to do, don't know about your hands, mine were freezing when we started and they're definitely warmer now. And I'm going to just notice the touch of the fingers on the forehead, thumbs on my cheekbone. And then this time, I'm going to take that dancing of the fingertips and I'm going to direct myself to where I think I need it most. You do the same. And the body will tell you. So clever. And then we're going to bring ourselves to the neck. And I've just realized we didn't do this the first time. So you'll really notice it this time. We're going to take this tapping down the outside of the arm. So with this, just notice how that arm feels to tap and to be tapped. Just relax. And let's do the same on the other side. I'm actually finding this almost more valuable because I'm really taking my awareness into this arm, softening it to receive the massage, making it almost absorbent. Just making this wrist really floppy. And then we're going to cover the front of the body. Cover the front of the body with this massage movement. And if you're feeling a bit fragile, you may want to take it into those just smoothing action with the palm, or just how light can you make this tapping? Just let those fists just dance off this area. And then we're going to take it to the kidneys. So we're just going to come around to that lower back, to the kidneys, and down the backs of these legs. You can bend those knees a little bit if you need to. Just coming as far as you feel you need to, then back up the inside of these legs. So once we've come up, we're going to come down the outside of those legs. Knees bent if you have any issues with that back. You can go as far as the feet, but I'm not able to get that far at the moment. It's gradually getting better. Down the fronts then. Oh, and by the third time, it's a lot easier. And bring it back up. Okay, let's just shake those feet out a little bit. Shake them out. I think I was so keen to look at the hip action. I forgot about that last time. Monday morning. So we're going to take those feet hip width apart. Long spine. Soft shoulders. Just let those shoulders fall away from the ears. And then as we place that tail down, just let those arms just gently rise. Starting with that left hand. Allowing that breath to almost flow through that arm. Softness in those shoulders. Soft face. Soft breath. And then starting maybe just a little bit smaller, the two dragons wrapping, allowing that weight transfer and letting those arms go. Good. It's a bit more challenging in the chair, this one. You might have to take it back to that slightly protected movement. And then just let those arms slowly find their way home. They're almost unable to settle themselves. They're that relaxed. And then as we settle, like that boat in water, that tail is down. Starting opening up that left side, lower back, right side of the body. And if we had this glowing ball, as we move, as we rotate, as we open up that abdominal area, it would be rolling over the chest. And then almost pressing into those abdominals as we open up that lower back. And then we're going to change direction and we'll allow this head to soften, just relax into a comfortable position. It doesn't have to remain static and stiff. Soften those shoulders, soften those hands. Let's take one more. Breath out, breath in. Let those arms slide down, shoulders slide, and then push off that ground. Breath in, breath out. Let those helium balloons lift those elbows and gently support them down. Rising from that ground, sinking back down. Heaven and earth, those circles. your awareness. And the feet on the floor, giving you that balance, stability. You might be aware of your sitting bones on a chair, and then breathe in. Imagine as you're breathing in, you're breathing into your armpits, to the side of those ribs, the arms, allowing that movement, flexing the sky. This time sweeping those hands down, sweeping up. Imagining as we open up, seeing blue sky, seeing sunshine, light. And then we're going to row that boat. So this is this powerful movement for the legs and the shoulders. So it can be as small or as big as you can comfortably do. No pain, just softness. And then with two hands, we're going to gaze at the moon to your right. Again, just showing me where that moon is in the sky. Maybe even taking this globe, placing it in the sky, and then let it go. Just let it go. It's a natural step. I'm going to turn and make sure I'm not on the creaky floorboard this time, but with that tail down, turning this foot out. Here am I. Taking this foot away from center, stepping out, tail is down, breathing in, breathing out. And then seeing if we can bring these hands, that left hand over the right. waving hands like clouds. Soft shoulders, soft face, soft hands. Five elements. Remember that sunshine that we noticed earlier. Feel that sunshine on your face, your arms, legs. Think about how it makes you feel. Think about that positive energy force, and it's flooding your body. Breathing it in and out. In. Those feet. Feel those feet on the floor. Sitting bones on the chair. That circle of well-being going to your right. Breathing in. Breathing out. As that weight transfer from left to right, right to left. Changing direction. And now return to center, following those hands to you. So returning to center, all about returning to that you who's there, who's calm, grounded, centered, ready to face anything. Taking that full breath in without trying too hard. Pushing that breath out. One more. And then sort of starting to think about the sounds outside, maybe aware of things going on around you, just moving the feet, gradually just coming back into the room, back into life itself. You may find it takes a little bit of time just to come back, so give yourself a few minutes just to get back into it. Very much a sequence designed for life, but I think when we're together like this, it can take a few moments just to kick back in. So give yourself that time. Just start to be aware of everything around you. Really love that being with you today. It's our Agnes. It's just lovely that I can actually picture you all there, if that makes sense. I sort of know who's with me, and I just hope you get the opportunity to actually pick the sessions that you think work the best for you, and maybe revisit them, and you can just maybe do part of it or some of it, and just remember that grounded breathing. while we're going about this week, because I have to say, I needed that. Thank you, diolch, my friends, and have a good week. Enjoy, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.